In this place, there is no single way to survive. Each creature carries its own strategy. Strength, speed, or intelligence. But nature doesn't need the strongest. Only those who adapt best are allowed to exist. Wild Africa, the masters of survival. Africa, the world's largest continent in terms of ecological harshness. Droughts lasting months, rainy seasons coming and going without any schedule. Nowhere on Earth is the boundary between life and death thinner than here. Water sources disappear, prey migrate. Predators never sleep enough. However, some species not only survive but thrive, not thanks to strength or speed, but thanks to evolution's perfected over long time. This is the story of 8 species, 8 different solutions to the same survival equation, and all still exist today. Honey badger isn't the largest or fastest species, but it's the species that almost no predator wants to confront a second time after trying once. Thick, loose skin allows it to twist and counterattack even when held tight. A defense mechanism becomes direct weapon. Honey badger can dig burrow in hard ground in just minutes. When encountering danger, it doesn't run. It digs down and disappears before predator can react. Besides honey badger, persistence must mention hyenas. They're true hunters, hunting most food by force and pack coordination. Hyena jaws generate bite force up to 1,100 pounds per square inch, enough to crush buffalo femur bones. Their digestive system breaks down nearly entire prey. A young individual approaches larger individual's prey. Larger individual doesn't attack. Instead, it emits special sound establishing hierarchy without contact. To speak of drought masters, oryx antelope is clearest example. They live in harsh places, endure high heat, and retain water efficiently for long periods. They store heat during day instead of sweating, then release at night. Thanks to this, oryx can live many months without drinking water directly. Morning on savanna begins changing. Light gradually reveals movements hidden in night, when both night and day predators appear together. In low bushes, a black-yellow shadow sits. Long ears with distinctive black tips rotate forward. Not a sound escapes. Its target is young African warthog separated from group a few steps. Distance just far enough not to rescue in time, but close enough not to miss. To understand what's about to happen, need to look at Caracal's body, optimized for short, fast attacks, precise to every moment. Caracal, not as large as lions or leopards, but its hunting efficiency no less in its environment. Caracal's hind legs disproportionately longer than front legs. This structure creates launch force from ground up to 3 meters height. Caracal lives alone, controlling wide territory. Every decision its responsibility, no chance to correct when facing larger prey. That pressure creates extremely precise predator. Each attack must be extremely accurate, because making mistakes means very high price. Warthogs adapt through flexibility. They eat almost everything findable in this harsh environment. When threatened, warthogs run zigzag, then rush into nearest burrow, turning head outward. Curved tusks become final defense layer. No species exists alone. Each species in complex interaction network, where every action affects the rest. And in that network, there are moments when boundary between hunter and prey blurs to point of no longer clear. Caracal has observed very long. It's not rushing, just waiting for moment cub separates far enough from herd that no one can intervene. Young warthog bows, head foraging, vision blocked. Immediately, Caracal lowers body and begins approaching in silence. Distance gradually narrows. Each footstep placed in controlled order to not create sound or ground vibration, prey can sense. Young warthog raises head, but too late, Caracal begins accelerating. Speed gradually increases approaching prey. Caracal lunges. Warthog reacts by running forward and calling out, sound loud enough for entire group to hear. Adult warthog reacts rushing straight toward Caracal at fastest speed. Caracal recognizes this signal. It stops and retreats toward bushes. This time, Caracal doesn't have enough time. It climbs nearest acacia tree in less than 2 seconds, while adult warthog is arriving. Caracal looks down from branch. Warthog stands below a while, then returns to herd. Cub follows, only lightly scratched. Hunt ends. This isn't rare failure. With Caracal, half of hunts unsuccessful, but that's enough to survive and improve skills. Meanwhile, elsewhere on savanna, another confrontation forming. Not hunting, but collision between two evenly matched species. Honey badger advances toward beehive, not changing direction, though ahead is resting hyena pack. It's tracked from early and has no intention of stopping. Honey badger doesn't change direction. It has no avoidance reflex. It assesses threat, and if assessment shows can proceed, it will proceed. Hyena pack notices honey badger, First reaction is curiosity. They stand and observe. Next, reassessing whether this is threat. Pack leader advances, emits warning signal. Honey badger stops, raises fur, looks straight. An unavoidable confrontation begins forming. Entire hyena pack rushes in, aiming straight for honey badger's neck. But thick skin makes bite ineffective, and honey badger twists to counterattack immediately. Honey badger counterattacks by biting hyena's nose, most sensitive and least protected area. Hyena retreats. Two other pack individuals advance to support. Hyenas surround from three sides. Honey badger doesn't run, just rotates continuously, keeping all directions under control, not exposing weakness too long. Honey badger secretes odor from anal glands. Chemical defense mechanism similar to skunks. Effect not to paralyze, but to break opponent's concentration. Honey badger doesn't flee but continues toward beehive. Hyena pack follows but slows, as if considering whether worth continuing. Pack leader stops, signals. Entire pack stops accordingly. Calculation completed. Honey badger not prey valuable enough to trade for more injuries. Honey badger arrives. It begins digging into hive while thousands of bees cover entire body. Thanks to thick skin, honey badger eats anasan in completely calm state. Elsewhere, there's species existing longer than all species just appearing. Not because strongest, but because more patient than any creature. Nile crocodile virtually unchanged for millions of years. Its body already perfect enough for what it needs to do. Crocodile metabolism so slow they can completely fast up to 1 year without declining body functions. During that time, they remain fully alert. When moment comes, crocodile attacks so fast, prey can't react. It's bite force enough to end everything almost immediately. In the north, elephant herd, advancing toward water source. Leading female, navigating by memory. It's been to this water source in similar drought season. African elephants have special memory. They remember water sources, migration routes, and individuals encountered over many decades in long life. Lead elephant stops. It uses front legs to dig into dry stream bed. After a while, small water pool appears from under sand layer. Entire herd drinks in order. 8 species, 8 solutions. Honey badger chooses fearlessness. Hyena chooses collective strength. Oryx chooses temperature control. Warthog chooses absolute flexibility. Caracal chooses precision. Elephant chooses memory. Crocodile chooses patience. Each species, one way of living, no strategy completely superior. Africa shows survival has no single definition. Not strongest survive, but those most suited to environment. Dusk descends, light fades and savanna shifts as day hunters retreat, while night hunters begin waking. Honey badger has had meal, Hyenas continue patrolling. Caracal prepares for next hunt. Elephant has found water. Crocodile still waits. Nothing guarantees tomorrow. Water sources can disappear. Prey can become scarce. Boundaries can break anytime. These species exist not because they avoided harshness, but because they became part of it, adapted to point of inseparable. Africa doesn't change to suit them. They change to suit Africa. And the difference between those two things is everything needed to know about survival. Mara River, Kenya. The planet's greatest migration is underway. Millions of wildebeest pour southward along murky river channels. The Serengeti stretches over 30,000 square kilometers. This is one of the world's most intact ecosystems, where every species has its own domain. Across these vast grasslands, lions dominate. They control territory, control prey, control the movement patterns of the entire ecosystem. But there's a boundary where even lions stop, a boundary not drawn by humans or territory, but drawn by fear. African lion, the largest terrestrial predator on the dark continent, weighing 180 to 225 kilograms, maximum speed 80 kilometers per hour. On land, that body is the perfect weapon. Speed, power, terrain control, all coordinated in ways evolution has refined over millions of years. But that very body becomes a burden when in contact with water. Large mass depletes energy. The male's thick mane absorbs water, weighing him down further. Speed, the lion's most important weapon, becomes nearly useless in aquatic environments. On land, they're hunters. In water, they become targets. The rivers of the Serengeti and Mara, water murky year-round. Lions can't see the depth or current below, can't see what's waiting beneath the surface. For a predator, losing the ability to see the environment means losing control. And losing control is the most dangerous state possible. Below that surface lies the Nile crocodile, a reptile surviving since dinosaur times, virtually unchanged in 200 million years. The Nile crocodile's bite force reaches about 5,000 psi, stronger than any land vertebrate. One bite is enough to hold prey, weighing hundreds of kilograms. The crocodile's attack technique, the death roll. After the jaws clamp the prey, the crocodile spins its entire body at extreme speed to break balance and drag it deep. In water, lions can't twist fast enough to counter, can't grip surfaces firmly enough to resist, and can't maintain fighting capability for long. On shore, an adult lion can take down a small crocodile with force and speed. But in water, this isn't a battle of strength. This is a battle of terrain. During migration season, these encounters happen daily. When wildebeest herds pour into the river, lions follow close behind, and crocodiles wait below. Lions typically approach prey near the water's edge. In moments focused on prey, they may not notice what's moving beneath the river's surface. Just 1 second's delay can determine the outcome. A crocodile's launch from underwater happens faster than any shore prey's evasion reflex. When an entire pride must cross the river, preparation can take hours. Males typically observe longest, moving along the bank, finding the shallowest point. Cubs observe the adults. This is how knowledge of danger is passed down in lion prides, not through innate instinct. In behavioral biology, this is called learned fear. Unlike innate instinct, this is knowledge formed through experience and observation. A lion that once witnessed a companion dragged down will never approach the water's edge the same way. That experience is carved deep into behavior. Before entering water, lions perform a sequence of behaviors. They listen to water sounds, touch lightly with front paws, observe any movement on the surface. This isn't mere hesitation. This is systematic risk assessment, a survival skill refined over generations, living beside crocodile-inhabited rivers. When pressure is great enough, lions are forced to cross. Drought drains water sources on land. Prey has moved to the other shore. No other choice remains. Males go first, not because they're braver, but because in lion pride's social structure, males typically lead when crossing fixed danger points. In water, lions can swim but slowly. Each passing second is a second exposed in an environment they can't control. Eyes never leave the water surface. Ears remain constantly vigilant. Below, crocodiles observe. They don't always attack, but their presence is always there. And lions know this. When crocodiles attack during river crossings, the situation becomes extremely dangerous within seconds. Jaws clamping onto legs or rear body sections are the most common scenarios. Lionesses can react instantly when cubs are threatened at the water's edge. In those moments, protective instinct overrides all risk assessment. Onshore, lionesses can threaten and attack small crocodiles. This is a rare situation, but documented in many Serengeti field studies. Solitary lions face rivers differently. No pride to share risk, no other males to lead. Nomadic solitary males often accept higher risk levels. The need to find new territory, find a new pride, is strong enough to push them beyond normal limits. In water, he doesn't roar, makes no noise, all energy focused on swimming and observing. This is abnormal behavior for a species like lions. Lions don't fear water because they're weak. They're cautious with water because they understand their limits. This is an important distinction in reading animal behavior. On land, lions control the hunt, decide when to attack, from which direction, at what speed. In water, all those reflexes are slowed by the water. But at the boundary between land and water, these two species meet in a space neither completely masters. There is no absolute king in the ecosystem. Each species dominates in its own environment, and the boundary between environments is where these orders are tested daily. Each migration season, thousands of river crossings occur at the Mara River. Most succeed, some end differently. This is the inevitable part of the ecological cycle. Lions understand this in their own way, not through language or abstract thought, but through memory of what they've witnessed at the riverbank. An old lion, having survived many migration seasons, always slows before the water's edge. This is instinct forged from survival memory. In nature, caution isn't weakness. It's the mark of survival memory. Individuals who live long understand the value of avoiding danger. The Mara River still flows. Migration season continues. Crocodiles still wait beneath murky water, and lions still stand on the bank, observing, assessing, deciding. This is an ancient boundary, carved deep through millions of years of evolution. Not strength, but environment defines the predator's limits. Lions don't fear the river because they're experienced enough hunters to know that environment determines the victor, not strength alone. On African land, lions dominate. Below the surface of great rivers, crocodiles dominate. And at the boundary between those two worlds, no species is invincible. Today, both species face pressure from habitat loss and conflict with humans. The survival of both is tied to ecosystem integrity. The Mara River still flows, each rainy season, each dry season, witnessing migrations, river crossings, boundaries being tested. East African savanna. Dawn has not yet broken. A new day begins like any other. But in this world, no day is truly like another. This is a land where every species is a link in the chain. Today's hunter can be tomorrow's prey. That order is not fixed. It changes by the hour, by each decision. And among all those species, there's one often underestimated, not the largest, not the fastest, but the one with the most complex social organization. This is the story of encounters, of losses, and of what happens after, when the hunter becomes the hunted. Baboons, the largest primate in southern Africa. Adult males weigh 25 to 45 kilograms. Canines up to 5 centimeters long, longer than lion canines, proportionate to body size. Baboon troops can reach 200 individuals. Within the troop, there's clear hierarchy. Large males protect the outer ring. Females and young stay at the center. They're omnivorous, from fruits and roots to insects and small reptiles, even newborn antelope when opportunity arises. This flexibility helps them survive many challenges. But in their habitat, every foraging day carries risk. Tall trees, open grassland, riverbanks, Each terrain has its own predators. Morning. The troop spreads out foraging near sparse acacia woodland. A young male, about 3 years old, separates from the group, chasing prey by instinct. Not far away, a leopard has spotted the young baboon, the most perfect hunter in Africa in terms of stealth and terrain versatility. Leopards don't move, make no sound. They can lie motionless for hours, waiting for prey to come within striking range. The young male runs through the ambushed predator's line of sight. He doesn't know death is right beside him, about to claim his life. A leap erupts. At maximum speed, the leopard allows no mistakes. It quickly seizes the young male. The baboon can't react. That moment ends faster than any description can convey. This is nature's truth, not cruelty. But the baboon troop isn't far. And in baboon troops, every call carries information. The alarm call, leopard attacking. Within seconds, the entire troop's behavior transforms completely. No longer individuals foraging separately. All move in one direction, one objective. The leopard has a choice: climb the tree with prey or abandon it and escape. But the troop arrives too fast. Large males weighing 40 kilograms, 5-centimeter canines, and most important of all, they come together. This is no longer individual confrontation. The leopard decides in an instant, abandons the kill and flees. This is the right choice. Being isolated by a baboon troop is extremely dangerous. The troop doesn't pursue. They understand it's futile. Instead, the group quickly restores order and minimizes loss. Days later, another threat, another species, lions. A pride of 4 lionesses moves into the area where the troop is foraging on a quiet morning. The response to lions is completely different from the response to leopards. Leopards are threats from above. Lions are threats on the ground. From above, the troop observes. They call loudly so the lions know they've been detected. In the hunting world, losing the element of surprise means losing the greatest advantage. The lion pride passes without stopping. To lions, baboons and trees aren't priority targets, but young ones on the ground are different. One lioness separates from the pride, lying hidden in tall grass near where the troop gathers to drink. She's been observing, and she's waiting for a young one to stray. A young baboon runs farther than the others. The lioness charges. Faster than any reaction can intervene. The young baboon has no chance. The troop reacts immediately but doesn't approach. They know lions aren't leopards. A lion's strength and speed on the ground don't allow that. A 130-kilogram lioness on open ground isn't an opponent the troop can effectively surround. They know this. But baboons don't forget. Research documents that this species can remember individuals of other species, especially those that have harmed the troop. The next day, Limpopo River. The troop comes to drink along their familiar route. Below the murky water, crocodiles wait for careless prey. In the troop, young ones typically drink at positions closest to shore. But riverbanks don't always allow ideal formation. A young baboon bends to drink. In an instant, the water erupts. No warning, no prior sound. A technique refined over millions of years. No chance for the young baboon. Nile crocodiles with bite force around 5,000 psi and reflexes under 0.1 seconds leave no gap. The troop remains at the water's edge. A few males just watch and roar. That behavior doesn't change the outcome, but shows social structure doesn't easily dissolve after loss. Then they leave. Order is re-established in heavy silence. Ahead still lies grassland, where risk and opportunity always coexist. A week later, the lioness pride returns, bringing 2 cubs about 6 weeks old. When the mothers leave to hunt, the 2 lie beneath low tree cover. Baboons discover this before we realize. From the tree branches, the lion mothers have gone far. 2 lion cubs lie alone. What follows is neither pure predation nor defense. Researchers call it redirected accumulated aggression, a complex social response. A male baboon picks up the lion cub, not frantically, just carries it and gradually climbs higher. The cub is completely helpless in this situation. At that height, the lion cub cannot survive a fall. A 6-week-old skeletal system isn't strong enough to withstand impact from over 15 meters. The lion mother returns quickly, roaring beneath the canopy, but climbing isn't her capability. Vertical distance is an absolute limit. The male baboon looks down and releases his grip, a behavior documented in primate studies in South Africa as a form of redirected accumulated aggression. He leaves by another route, not looking back. The troop regroups and continues moving. No ceremony, only cold continuation. In nature, good and evil don't exist. Only strategies selected through evolution, shaped by social memory and survival pressure. Chakmanda baboons still maintain large populations, but shrinking habitat and increasing urban conflict pose new challenges. When dusk falls, they climb the tallest acacia trees, choosing height as their shield. Tomorrow repeats, like every survival cycle. The Masai Mara grasslands at dawn, at the edge of the plains, where farmland meets wilderness. A female cheetah lies vigilantly. This is Nira, and her story is not easy. Nearby, two small cheetahs are playing in the tall grass. This is all that remains of the litter of 6 that Neera gave birth to 3 months ago. The other 4 are dead, 1 killed by hyenas, 2 attacked by lions, 1 snatched by an eagle while Neera was hunting. This isn't an exception. This is the reality of cheetahs. This is a story of survival at the edge, about a lone mother raising cubs in a world that has shrunk 90%, racing against time. Cheetahs are completely different from leopards. Solid black spots instead of rosettes, non-retractable claws like cleats, and a long tail like a balance beam. Everything designed for one purpose: speed. From 0 to 70 kilometers per hour in just 2 seconds. Maximum can reach 110 kilometers per hour. Therefore, the body weighs only 50 kilograms, not strong enough to climb trees or fight larger carnivores. Cheetahs are the weakest among large predators. Neera knows this better than anyone. Every day she must move her 2 cubs to new hiding places. Lions and hyenas are always lurking, searching for cheetah cubs to kill. When she needs to call her cubs, Neera emits a special bird-like call. This call doesn't attract the attention of other predators, but the cubs can still hear clearly. But the biggest challenge isn't protecting the cubs, it's feeding them. Neera must hunt every day, each hunt lasting an average of only 20 seconds before she's exhausted. If she fails 3 or 4 times in a row, Neera and her cubs will starve. And starvation means weaker, slower, easier to attack. And this is the death spiral. This morning, Neera spots a young gazelle antelope grazing 300 meters away. Perfect prey, small, weak, separated from the herd. She moves meter by meter. Her tawny coat with black spots blends completely into the dry grass. Distance remaining, 100 meters. 50 meters, 20 meters, tail tense, hind leg muscles coiled to maximum. The moment has come. Neera launches like an arrow. 2 seconds to reach 70 kilometers per hour. The antelope detects her, but it's too late. 12 seconds later, Neera catches up, using her claws to trip the prey's hind legs. The antelope tumbles. Neera immediately bites the neck, suffocating the windpipe. The entire hunt lasts 17 seconds. But Neera is panting as if she just ran a marathon. She needs 15 minutes to recover, but there's no time. The smell of blood spreads. Hyenas will arrive in 5 to 10 minutes. Neera calls her cubs to eat quickly. The 2 little ones eat hurriedly. Neera doesn't eat, only watches the surroundings. The mother always eats last. If there's food left, this is the survival law of cheetahs. But today is unlucky. 7 minutes later, a pack of hyenas appears. Neera immediately calls her cubs to retreat. Can't fight, can only run. The meal is lost. This is the reality of cheetahs. 50% of kills are stolen by lions, hyenas, or vultures. Catching prey doesn't guarantee getting to eat. But Neera doesn't give up. That afternoon, she hunts successfully again. This time, she finds thick bushes to eat safely. the cubs get full bellies. Today is a good day. Months pass. The two cubs grow gradually, from 5 kilograms to 20 kilograms. Nira begins teaching them to hunt. First lesson, observation. Nira lets the cubs watch from a distance when she hunts. They learn how to choose prey, how to approach undetected, how to calculate distance. Second lesson, practice. When the cub is 10 months old, Nira catches a rabbit but doesn't kill it. She lets the cub practice the technique of tripping and neck biting. The first time, the cub fails, the rabbit escapes. But Nira is patient, lets the cub try again. After 3 attempts, one of the 2 cubs succeeds. Joy spreads through the small family. But when the cubs are 14 months old, Nira must chase them away. Not because she doesn't love them, but because instinct protects them from adult males. The 2 siblings must now be independent, too early compared to nature. But the shrinking environment doesn't allow otherwise. They're still immature, but must face the adult world. The first week, they fail at hunting continuously, hungry and afraid. But then they learn something important: cooperation. One chases, one ambushes. Finally, they catch their first prey. Nira, somewhere not far away, hears the joyful calls of her cubs. She doesn't approach, but knows they're still alive. That's all a cheetah mother can hope for. Currently, only about 7,000 cheetahs remain in the wild, down from 100,000 individuals at the beginning of the 20th century. Every survivor is a miracle. Lifespan decreased from 15 years to only 8 years. Living space shrunk 90%. Without immediate action, the planet's fastest animal will only exist in legend. Nira and her cubs are living proof of resilient vitality. Every day they fight. Every day they survive. Their story is the story of the entire species, racing against time. Afternoon sunlight illuminates the Serengeti grasslands. Dry grass glows golden under temperatures of 35 degrees Celsius, a typical day in the heart of Africa. Here, every meal must be contested. Predator and prey, robber and robbed. The line between success and failure is very fragile. 2 predator species are about to collide. One side is a warrior with deadly weapons. One side is an opportunistic thief who will claim victory. This is the story of an unexpected encounter, when a plan to steal prey becomes a battle to the death, when instinct decides survival. The secretary bird is one of Africa's most unique birds of prey. They stand over 1 meter tall and have a wingspan of nearly 2 meters. The name comes from the black feathers behind the head, resembling quill pens tucked behind a secretary's ear in olden times. But this bird is anything but gentle. They hunt snakes, large lizards, rodents, insects, but venomous snakes are their favorite. They have a unique hunting technique: kick prey to death. Long legs, sharp curved talons, specially developed leg muscles. A kick can generate force of nearly 20 kilograms, enough to crush the bones of venomous snakes. Serval, also called grassland wildcat, smaller than spotted leopards but larger than house cats. They weigh about 9 to 18 kilograms. The largest ears in the cat family relative to body size, superhuman hearing, can hear mice moving underground. Long legs, highest leg-to-body ratio in the cat family. It can jump up to 3 meters high and achieves a hunting success rate of about 50%. But today, the serval isn't hunting. It's seeking opportunity, stealing prey from others, conserving energy, increasing survival efficiency. The secretary bird has just found a snake, puff adder, venomous, dangerous, but to the secretary bird, this is a good meal. The snake rears its head, opens its mouth threateningly, ready to inject venom. But the secretary bird has faced such situations countless times. A kick shoots out lightning fast, precise, strikes the snake's head directly. It writhes violently, but isn't dead yet. Another kick, then another. The snake lies motionless. The secretary bird bends down to check the prey. Victory is clear, but in the grass, another is watching silently. The serval presses itself flat to the ground. It moves slowly, each step separated by several seconds. No sound. Every movement is calculated. It weighs options quickly. The bird is taller, heavier, and has extremely powerful legs. But that fat snake is a valuable protein source. It steps slowly forward, not to hunt the bird, but to steal the prey, a familiar tactic of an opportunistic hunter. The secretary bird reacts immediately. Defensive instinct flares. It clamps the snake tightly in its beak and won't let go. This prey belongs to it. It spreads its wings nearly 2 meters wide, creating a large visual wall. The goal is to make the cat back down, a familiar defensive tactic. The serval backs away a few steps, but doesn't leave. It circles slowly, eyes still locked on target, patiently waiting for a moment of vulnerability. It lunges again, testing the bird's powerful legs. Claws touch wing feathers, but still not enough to steal the snake. The snake falls to the ground, but the conflict has now gone beyond food. No longer a dispute over prey. This is a battle. The secretary bird unleashes the first kick, lightning fast, nearly 20 kilograms of force in an instant, misses the cat's head by just a few centimeters. The serval dodges quickly, reflexes of a born hunter. It lunges, trying to bite the bird's knee joint to neutralize the dangerous legs. The bird jumps back. Second kick hits the cat's shoulder, not strong enough to cause serious injury, but enough to cause pain. An accurate kick could shatter the serval's jaw, ending its hunting ability forever. Therefore, The cat must strike very fast and precisely. The serval lunges again, this time lowering its body. It pounces on the secretary bird's chest area. Claws dig deep, pulling the bird down. The secretary bird struggles violently. Wings beat on hard, creating wind currents that send dust flying. It tries to kick, but the serval has latched too close for the strike to be effective. The battle lasts about 3 minutes, consuming enormous metabolic energy. Both are breathing heavily, but neither side will let go. The serval changes tactics. It seeks the bird's neck position. This is the cat family's familiar killing technique, the suffocating bite. The secretary bird senses danger. It struggles to escape, but the cat's weight presses heavily. Wings no longer have space to swing. The serval seizes the bird's neck. Fangs sink deep, not piercing completely, but clamping tight. The goal is to cut off oxygen. Time decides life and death. The bird lies on the ground, wings spread wide on the dry earth. It's still alive, but no longer has strength to continue fighting. The cat still holds the bird's neck tight. It doesn't loosen. The struggling weakens with each second, each breath, until the body is motionless. After about 5 minutes, all movement ceases. The warrior has fallen. The opportunist wins, not through strength, but through tactics. The serval releases the bird. It's exhausted. Victory has come, but the price is very high. Energy expended equivalent to many days of normal hunting. It doesn't eat the bird. Instead, it drags out the snake, the original meal, the reason for the conflict. It eats hurriedly before others appear. 15 minutes later, vultures land. They clean up what remains. Here, nothing is wasted. The cycle continues. Prey stealing is common behavior in Africa. Hyenas steal from leopards. Lions steal leopard kills. Survival becomes more difficult. But this behavior is full of risk. About half the time, the thief gets injured, 1/5 end in death. The price to pay is very high. Climate change makes food sources scarcer. Competition increases. Prey theft occurs more frequently. Mortality rates also rise. Both servals and secretary birds are species that need conservation. Their numbers are declining as habitats increasingly shrink. As the sun sets over the Serengeti, the grassland gradually quiets again. The cat has left. Vultures have flown away. Only traces of battle remain on the sand. In the harsh reality of the African bush, the line between hunter and prey is always fragile. The thief can become the executioner. No heroes, no villains, only creatures trying to survive by any means and any tactics possible. And in the silence of the Serengeti night, one law still silently operates. Nature doesn't judge. Nature only selects. The wiser one, the luckier one, the one still alive. East African savanna. Dawn has just touched the earth. From an earth burrow at the base of an acacia tree, a snout emerges to probe the morning air. This is a land where every careless moment must be paid dearly. Lions, leopards, hyenas, crocodiles, all share the same living space. Not as large as buffalo, not as fast as antelope, no venomous fangs or sharp claws, but this species has existed on the African grasslands for over 800,000 years. This is a story about survival not based on absolute strength, but based on speed, instinct, and the right decisions in moments that decide everything. Warthogs are widely distributed throughout sub-Saharan Africa. Adult males weigh from 60 to 150 kilograms. Shoulder height, about 75 centimeters. The name warthog comes from the protruding tissue masses on the face. Males have 4 warts, females have 2. Their function is to protect the face when fighting with their own kind. Male warthog tusks can reach up to 60 centimeters long, curved upward and mainly used for fighting or defense. An accurate strike is enough to tear into a lion. Warthogs run at maximum about 50 kilometers per hour. Not enough to escape lions or leopards on a straight path, but enough to create distance when reacting in time. The tail standing straight when running is a visual signal for young to track the mother's direction of movement in tall grass. A simple but effective signal. Warthogs are omnivorous, grass, tubers, tree roots, occasionally animal carcasses. They often kneel on their front legs to graze close to the ground, their most recognizable characteristic posture. Warthog knees have thick skin formed from continuous daily kneeling. This is evolutionary adaptation, reflecting how this species adjusts its body to its lifestyle. Warthogs live in small groups of 4 to 16 individuals, mainly females and young. Adult males usually live solitary outside breeding season. Earth burrows are the center of warthog life. They don't dig their own, but occupy burrows left by aardvarks or honey badgers. This is where they sleep, give birth and escape. Warthogs enter burrows by backing in tail first, tusks facing outward from the burrow entrance. Any predator that sticks its head in will meet the tusks first. Morning. A warthog group moves to a grazing area 500 meters from the burrow. The male goes first, head low, nose working continuously. This is an information scanning posture. 150 meters away, a leopard lies in ambush in tall grass. It has been tracking the warthog group since before they left the burrow, and it's waiting for one to separate from the group. A young warthog separates a few meters following a cluster of tubers near a low bush. The leopard knows this. In an instant, its body shifts from rest to ready to sprint. The lead male warthog lifts its head. Some scent in the grass. Not clear, but enough to trigger reflexes. It immediately emits a short call. The leopard lunges, but the young has already made it back to the group. The male warthog turns to face the leopard directly, tusks pointing forward. no intention to flee. The leopard stops at a distance of 3 meters. A 50-kilogram leopard facing a 100-kilogram male warthog with 50-centimeter tusk. The male warthog holds confrontational posture, not attacking, not retreating. This is nature's clearest message. Attack me, and you will pay the price. The leopard circles to one side. The warthog rotates accordingly. The leopard circles to the other side. The warthog rotates again. After 2 minutes, the leopard leaves to find less risky prey. Not every confrontation is favorable. When alone and attacked suddenly from behind, warthogs don't have enough time to turn and face. This is why warthogs rarely move alone. This species' strength lies in the group. Many eyes, many noses, many ears, continuously supplementing each other. Evening descends. The threat changes. Lions are more active when the sun mellows. 3 lionesses are moving through the area where the warthog group is foraging. 1 leopard can be repelled by warthog tusks, but 3 coordinated lionesses are a threat where direct confrontation is not a wise choice. The male warthog emits a short call. The group turns toward the burrow, 400 meters from the burrow, far enough that lions can catch up if they start now. Lions chase the running warthog group on a straight path. Lionesses are faster, but warthogs know the terrain and know the destination. The young warthog is slower. A lioness breaks off, targeting it. The mother warthog recognizes immediately. She changes trajectory, lunging between the lioness and the young. The mother warthog's charge doesn't hit the lion, but is enough to break the attack trajectory. The lion loses momentum and veers off course. The young continues running to the burrow. The young enters the burrow first. Mother warthog quickly backs in after, tusks facing outward. Lions stop before the burrow entrance, cannot approach. The rest of the lion pride arrives. The entire pride surrounds the burrow entrance, but the entrance is small, tusks facing outward. No lion wants to try approaching. After 20 minutes, the lion pride leaves. The earth burrow has done what speed and strength cannot do alone. This is why warthogs never forage too far from burrows. Dusk, spotted hyenas begin patrol. Their sense of smell can detect warthog burrow scent from over a kilometer, and they know where the burrows are. Hyenas don't enter burrows. They stand waiting outside. Blockade tactics. Wait all night if needed. Warthogs must come out before dawn to forage. Warthogs in the burrow don't sleep. They hear the hyenas outside and wait. A psychological battle where whichever side is more patient will have the advantage. Near dawn, hyenas are still around the warthog burrow. They persistently wait for warthogs to come out. Warthogs slowly stick their heads out. Dawn begins. Hyenas perform poorly in daylight. This is the moment warthogs have waited all night for. Light is their ally. The male warthog comes out first, fast, and runs straight, no hesitation, while the last hyena hasn't left yet. Speed and decisiveness are everything. Hyenas give chase, but it's already light, and the male warthog is running toward open grassland, where the lion pride from last night is no longer there. African warthogs currently number in the millions throughout sub-Saharan Africa, not on the endangered list. Clear proof of the effectiveness of this species' survival strategy. Warthogs play an important ecological role. Their digging creates earth holes for many smaller species. Their dung disperses seeds throughout the grasslands. The relationship between warthogs and oxpecker birds is typical symbiosis. Birds eat ticks and parasites on warthog skin. In return, warthogs receive early warning signals when birds suddenly fly up. Afternoon. The warthog group is grazing normally. The flock of oxpeckers suddenly flies up. The male warthog reacts immediately without needing to hear or smell more. Each species contributes what the other lacks. This isn't friendship. This is an effective biological transaction maintained through millions of years of evolution. Today ends like every day. The warthog group returns to the burrow before sunset. Backs in tail first, tusks facing outward, ready for the long night ahead. Warthogs aren't the strongest, fastest, or largest species, but they know which burrow is theirs, know when to run, know when to stand their ground. And 800,000 years on the land with the most predators on the planet is the clearest evidence that sometimes wisdom endures longer than strength. The sun has not yet reached its peak. The African grassland stretches out in silence. Only the wind gliding across the yellowed grass as it bends and sways. In the distance, a small figure moves low to the ground, steady, unhurried, as though it knows exactly where it is headed. This is the morning of the animal known as the fearless one. On this savanna, very few creatures dare to hunt alone in broad daylight. But Ironhide, this adult male honey badger, answers to no one's schedule. It moves by its own rules and its own will. The honey badger is a small carnivore belonging to the family Mustelidae, widely distributed from sub-Saharan Africa to the Indian subcontinent. Its average weight ranges from 9 to 14 kilograms. Its uniquely thick and loose skin allows the body to twist even while being held in a bite, a defensive mechanism refined by evolution over millions of years. Ironhide stops. Its nose drops close to the ground, nostrils flaring rapidly with each breath. Something in the morning air causes it to change direction. The honey badger's sense of smell can detect prey at distances far beyond what the eye can see. A single odor molecule is enough to trigger its instincts. Ironhide begins to accelerate, head lowered, tail held level, the typical hunting posture of a honey badger, signaling that it is not exploring, but closing in on a confirmed target. The scent Ironhide has picked up is no ordinary prey. It is the smell of newborn hyena cubs, creatures not yet capable of defending themselves. Up ahead, concealed behind a thorn bush, lies a complex burrow system. This is the territory of a hyena clan, one of the most organized hunting collectives in Africa. At this hour, most of the clan's adults have left to forage. Only a few females remain behind, on guard. But Ironhide seems entirely unconcerned. To understand why a 12-kilogram animal would dare approach the territory of a species with the most powerful bite force among mid-sized carnivores, we must look at the very nature of this creature. The hyena is a carnivore with one of the strongest bite forces among mid-sized predators, reaching over 1,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush the thickest bones. Hyenas live in a matriarchal social structure. Females hold higher rank than males. Within the clan, all territorial defense decisions are coordinated collectively. Every movement of the clan reflects thousands of years of evolutionary cooperation, not the strength of any single individual, but the efficiency of the group. Bite force is not their only advantage. Hyenas can sustain a pace of 50 to 60 kilometers per hour over long distances. A chase is not meant to catch, it is meant to exhaust. Ironhide continues forward. It moves along the downwind path, keeping its own scent from drifting ahead. Step by step, the distance to the burrow closes. This is not the first time a honey badger has approached a hyena den. Field observations show that this behavior appears when food sources become scarce. Risk is always present on the honey badger's journey. But for this species, danger is not a reason to stop. It is merely a variable in the equation of survival. Ironhide crosses the outer boundary of the territory. It is now within range where any hyena can spot it and react within seconds. At the burrow entrance, the cubs lie huddled together. They are not yet capable of self-defense, still inside the den, and entirely dependent on the clan. The honey badger takes a few more steps forward. Its nose sweeps close to the ground, head tilting slightly to the right, the typical scent-tracking behavior before a strike. It has detected the cubs. A short, sharp cry rises from the hyena's burrow. A cub is pulled out into the light, and in an instant, the stillness of the grassland vanishes entirely. The nearest female hyena raises her head, both ears standing straight up. She immediately understands this is no sound of wind or playful cubs. It is a warning sign of danger. Within seconds, the mother hyena lets out a series of low, drawn-out whoop calls. The signal carries far across the plain, calling other clan members to return immediately. Ironhide turns around. Behind it, the hyena clan is accelerating from two directions, while ahead lies only open ground with nowhere to hide. Surrounded in that moment, the honey badger drops the cub and turns to face the threat. Its survival instinct chooses to fight rather than flee. The mother hyena moves straight to the cub, lifts it gently in her jaws, and pulls it back toward the burrow. Meanwhile, the two remaining hyenas advance on Ironhide. For the hyenas, securing the cub is only the first step. Once the vulnerable individual is safe, the clan typically coordinates to eliminate the intruder from their territory. Ironhide does not run. Hackles raised, back lowered, jaws wide open, a full combat stance. For this animal, escape sometimes begins with confrontation. The hyenas take turns attacking. The honey badger spins in half a second and bites back into the nearest muzzle. The hyena recoils, not from pain, but from surprise. This is the moment where the honey badger achieves something rare in nature, making a much larger animal pause. For a few seconds, the hyena clan hesitates. But that pause does not last. One hyena moves in from behind, while another draws its attention from the front. Ironhide is bitten on the face and rear flank. It spins quickly and bites back. The loose skin allows the twist, but cannot hold off two sets of jaws at once. In a multi-opponent confrontation, endurance is the deciding factor. Ironhide can tolerate pain far beyond the ordinary, but it cannot compensate for a sustained numerical disadvantage. Ironhide begins to retreat toward the edge of the hyena's encirclement, step by careful step. It searches for a gap to break through, as the gray-brown ring slowly tightens. This is the hallmark of the hyena encirclement tactic. No need for a decisive strike. Simply maintain pressure, cut off the escape route, and wait for the opponent to exhaust itself from within. Ironhide bites back once more, fierce, but unable to create any distance. Energy drains steadily, each rotation of the body costing more than the last. In nature, the line between life and death rarely arrives suddenly. Sometimes it comes slowly, through each shortened breath of a creature still in the fight. Ironhide still stands, still turning to face the nearest attacker. Its deepest instinct will not allow it to fall while it can still fight. The hyena clan coordinates a final assault. Force converges from three directions at once. And this time, the honey badger no longer has the speed to break free. Ironhide goes down. The hyena clan gathers around the one who dared invade their territory. The grassland returns to silence after everything has been decided. In field observations, honey badgers attacking hyena dens is not uncommon. The outcome typically depends on how many clan members are present at the time. Outside the burrow, the hyena cubs lie still. They do not yet understand what has just taken place out there. They only know that their mother's familiar presence is still close beside them. Adult male honey badgers have an average lifespan of 7 to 10 years in the wild. In that time, they may face lions, leopards, and venomous snakes, and most of the time, they survive. Today is simply an exception. But the fall of one individual does not mean the fall of a species. Elsewhere, on the grassland, another honey badger is still digging into a beehive, hunting, and continuing the cycle of survival. On this grassland, there is no permanent victory. Each day is only a series of survival choices, where every species, from hyena to honey badger, plays its role in an ecosystem far greater than any single individual. through the still water blanketing the surface of the marsh, where the light of dawn barely touches a few inches of the waterline. A sound of heavy breathing rises from the reeds. It is not the sound of fish breaking the surface, nor the wind moving through the grass. It is the breath of a creature, watching your every move. Okavango does not welcome you. It tests you, and whoever hesitates will not have time to understand where they went wrong. Welcome to Okavango, not a river, not a lake. This is a survival machine powered by floodwater, sunlight, and blood. A place where every flood season is a rebirth, and every nightfall is a survival contest that no one is allowed to lose. Here, humans are only observers. No privileges, no protection, only the naked truth of nature. Before going deeper into this journey, if you carry within you the fire of the wild, subscribe now so you never miss a thing. Because what lies ahead is not a sightseeing tour. This is a survival challenge in the heart of Africa's greatest flood delta. If Okavango has a king, it is not the species that swims the fastest. It is the species that dares to wade through deep water to claim the right to rule. With a body weighing over 200 kilograms and a jaw force exceeding 300 kilograms, the lions of Okavango bring down a water buffalo like a giant vice, clamping shut and never letting go. But their true strength is not in the strike. They are population controllers that help maintain the balance between the buffalo herds and the vegetation across the entire delta. In Okavango, lions do not hunt in the usual way. They ambush from floating grass islands. Each move forward a silent chess game. The pride splits into groups. One side creates noise to herd the prey. The other lies waiting in silence. This tactic has been passed down through generations of Okavango lion prides. But this land is shrinking. Poaching and agricultural fencing fragment territories. Lion prides grow smaller and no longer carry enough genetic diversity to survive. The lions of Okavango, who have learned to live with water, are now learning to live with a threat they cannot hunt: the disappearance of their own home. Okavango draws a long breath, and in the distance, another call begins to rise. If the lion is the king of strength, then the African wild dog is the genius of the collective, the only species that wins through discipline, not muscle. Weighing only 25 kilograms, yet with a hunting success rate of up to 80%, higher than both lions and leopards. Their weapon is not fang and claw, but perfect coordination requiring no language. They are the engine of the ecosystem. Each hunt moves the prey herds, creating a cycle of rotation that allows the grasslands of Okavango to recover and spread. Before a hunt, the entire pack performs a ritual. They lick each other's faces, heads touching heads, not out of affection, but as a combat ceremony. After that, no one leaves anyone behind. They share food first with the young and the sick, the only species in Okavango that places care for others above its own needs. Fewer than 6,600 individuals remain across all of Africa. Rabies, from domestic dogs Farmers' snares and habitat loss are wiping out the continent's most skilled hunters. Every wild dog pack is a miniature society. When a pack disappears, it is not just animals that are lost. An entire culture of hunting built across generations is lost with them. Night falls over Okavango, and beneath the water, something older, colder, begins to move. If the lion is king on land, and the wild dog is the master tactician, then the crocodile is the primal darkness of Okavango, the species that witnessed the extinction of the dinosaurs and is still here. The crocodile's jaws generate a bite force exceeding 1,700 kilograms, more than any living creature on Earth. A single roll of the body underwater tears apart anything in just 3 seconds. But the crocodile is not only a destroyer, they are natural canal diggers. Their sleeping hollows create water pools that help hundreds of species survive through the dry season. Crocodiles do not give chase. They wait, sometimes for hours, even days, until the prey steps close enough that no escape remains. When they strike, there is no warning, no running start. Only the water breaking open for one beat, and everything is already over. Despite existing for over 200 million years, the crocodiles of Okavango are losing their habitat. Water pollution and agricultural land conversion are shrinking the living space of the oldest surviving reptile on Earth. A species that has survived 5 mass extinctions now faces a threat that no evolution can defend against: human indifference. The water surface goes flat again, but just nearby, a heavier breath, a larger body, begins to rise. But the story does not stop with predators. As we leave the shallows, another world begins to reveal itself. The world of the giants that lie beneath the surface. This is the deep water of Okavango, where light does not reach the bottom, and anyone who enters cannot determine where they stand in the food chain. The floodwater does not only bring fish and plants, it brings the hippopotamus, a species weighing 4 tons. The most aggressive and most important creature in the entire delta ecosystem. If the crocodile is the silent darkness, then the hippopotamus is a moving storm. And the next part of this journey will take us straight into the eye of that storm. The hippo does not need to hunt to become the most dangerous creature in Okavango. It is dangerous simply because it exists. And no species is allowed to forget that. Weighing over 4 tons, capable of running at 30 kilometers per hour on land, jaws that open to 180 degrees. Hippos kill more people in Africa than any other large animal, including lions. But the hippo is a nutrient pump. Every day they deposit hundreds of kilograms of organic matter into Okavango, feeding the algae, feeding the fish, and sustaining the entire food chain below. Male hippos mark territory by spinning their tails and spraying dung, the clearest and most undeniable boundary language Okavango has ever known. When territory is violated, there is no negotiation. 2 males crash into each other, jaw against jaw, the sound of impact splitting the air until one submits or flees. But hippos are disappearing. Prolonged drought, declining flood levels, and ivory poaching are pushing this species toward the endangered list. An Okavango without hippos would be a dead river. Newborn hippo calves need clean water to breathe. When the water is polluted, when flood levels no longer rise high enough, the survival rate of the next generation drops to catastrophic levels. The water rises, the water recedes, and in that cycle, nothing is permanent. Every strength has its limit. Every territory has its end. Here, speed no longer matters. Strength no longer matters. The survivor is the one who can read Okavango, knowing when to be still, when to strike, when to step back. Tonight, the lions have cornered a buffalo herd at the water's edge. The crocodiles are waiting below. The wild dogs stand at the rim of the darkness, and the hippos do not care about any of them. A sound. The buffalo herd breaks in every direction. Water explodes upward. And in that chaos, Okavango takes its share, as it has done for millions of years. The loser of tonight will vanish without a trace. Only the ripple of water spreading outward, and the silence of Okavango answers everything. Everything you have just witnessed is not a collection of separate stories. Okavango is a living organism, and every species is an irreplaceable cell within it. Lions control the buffalo herds. Wild dogs distribute prey across the territory. Crocodiles dig canals. Hippos nourish the water. Switch off one, and the entire system will tilt. Okavango does not exist because of floodwater. It exists because of balance. A balance rewritten over millions of years, now being erased in just a few centuries. And when one link disappears, it is not just one species that is lost. It is an entire ecological symphony that has never been written before and will never be written again. But the most dangerous creature in Okavango is not the lion, not the crocodile, not the hippo. It is us, the only species that destroys without needing to be hungry. Hydroelectric systems upstream are regulating the flow. Less floodwater means less grassland, fewer fish, less life, diminishing at every level, multiplying downward. Poaching does not only kill animals, it shatters social structures. Lion prides lose their leaders, wild dog packs lose their memory, hippos lose their guide generation. And the price to be paid is not only nature's to bear. When Okavango dies, the millions of people who depend on its water and tourism will lose everything. When the lion's roar fades into the night, when the wild dog pack disappears behind the curtain of grass, when the water surface returns to calm as though nothing ever happened. The question that remains is not, what have we discovered? It is, do we have enough time to change? Before the answer becomes a permanent silence. What will we have left when Okavango no longer floods? When the greatest survival machine in Africa finally runs out of fuel? Okavango is still here, still flowing, still alive. But for how long depends on the answer we choose to give today. If this journey has made you shudder, left you unsettled, or simply made it impossible to look at Okavango the same way again, leave a comment below. And until next time, at the next brutal survival arenas, where nature does not ask if you are ready, the early morning mist blankets the Masai Mara Valley, turning everything into silent, drifting shadows. The sun has not yet risen, but the savanna has already begun to stir. The call of a hornbill rings out, followed by the chorus of insects layering one upon another like a familiar symphony every morning. The savanna is shifting before the dawn. The ground begins to vibrate faintly. From the other side of the valley, a massive dark mass appears. A herd of African buffalo moving slowly through the early morning mist. Among the forest of legs and horns, calves are struggling to keep pace with the herd. Born less than a week ago, they are fragile, yet always kept within the fold. The African buffalo is the largest wild bovine on the continent. A fully grown adult can weigh up to 900 kilograms, and the fused horns at the top of the head form a hard shield, making them a formidable opponent. They live in large herds of several dozen to several hundred, constantly on the move in search of grass and water. The strength of a buffalo herd together is nearly impenetrable. But newborn calves are the weakest link, weighing less than 40 kilograms. Their legs still tremble when running, and entirely dependent on their mother's milk. They are the perfect prey for every predator. In the first weeks of life, African buffalo calves face an extremely high mortality rate. Predators such as lions, hyenas, and leopards are always lurking. For that reason, the mother buffalo rarely leaves the calf's side. She always positions herself between the calf and the outer edge of the herd, constantly looking back to check. This morning, the herd is heading toward the Mara River to drink. It is a familiar journey, but never a safe one, especially for the calves. And the buffalo herd is not the only group moving toward the river this morning. On the high ridge to the east, rounded ears are pricked upright, and amber eyes are tracking every step of the herd. A pride of lions has been lying low in the tall grass, watching the buffalo since before sunrise. To understand the tactic, one must know that lions rarely attack adult buffalo if a better option exists. Their target is always the weakest individual in the herd. The lion is the only big cat that hunts in groups. When facing African buffalo, they create panic to fracture the herd, then isolate any calf that falls behind. The jaws and claws of a lion can bring down prey, but the horns of a buffalo can also pierce a lion's abdomen in a single charge. This is a game where both sides can pay with their lives. The pride splits into two directions. One group swings left, another holds the right, while those at the rear stand ready to press in and drive the prey herd into a position where it can be pursued. The buffalo herd continues grazing calmly, unaware of the danger, but an old bull standing at the edge of the herd suddenly raises his head. His nose has caught something on the wind. He lets out a sharp snort, a first-level warning signal. A few nearby individuals raise their heads, but not enough to trigger a full herd response. And the lions understand that the window of opportunity is closing. The lion pride launches its attack. Four subadults charge straight into the edge of the buffalo herd with a thunderous roar. The goal is not to kill, but to create chaos. The buffalo herd erupts in panic. Hundreds of animals surge forward, hooves pounding the earth like rolling thunder. Red dust rises in thick clouds, obscuring everything from sight. In the midst of the chaos, a small calf is left behind. Two lionesses break from opposite sides. One lioness seizes the calf's hindquarters and drags it down. The other leaps onto its back and pins it. A piercing cry rings out, not only from pain, but as a distress call. The mother buffalo turns back first. She charges against the flow of the fleeing herd, horns lowered, eyes blazing red. Alone, she drives straight into the lioness, pinning her calf to the ground. The first charge hurls one lioness off. The other is forced to release the calf and back away. The mother buffalo stands in front of her calf, breathing hard, full of menace. Then the ground begins to shake, not from the footsteps of lions, but from the direction of the herd. The distress call has reached exactly where it needed to. Dozens of adult buffalo are turning back, and they are not moving slowly. The herd descends like a flood. 20, 30, then 40 individuals form a line, horns lowered, turning the grassland into an unstoppable force. The lion pride immediately recognizes that the situation has reversed. From attackers, they have become the targets of the buffalo herd. The herd encircles the area. They form a ring around the mother and calf, horns pointing outward in every direction, creating a defensive wall with no gaps. The lioness is sent rolling, lying there panting. She is not badly injured, but hurt enough to understand that the hunt is over. The lion pride retreats one by one. They walk slowly, maintaining a composed appearance. But in reality, they have lost all control of the situation. Today, the feast does not belong to them. The buffalo herd holds its formation for a few more minutes. This caution is the product of millions of years of evolution, only breaking position when safety is certain. The mother buffalo lowers her head and licks the scrapes on her calf's body. When the danger has passed, the African buffalo herd continues its journey toward the Masai Mara. The calf is placed at the center, surrounded by multiple adults. The entire herd slows its pace to match the short steps of the young one. That is the price of protection, sacrificing speed to keep every member whole. In the distance, the lion pride rests in the shade of a tree. They will return tomorrow, for the cycle of hunting never stops. On the Masai Mara savanna, there is no permanent victory. There is only a survival repeated day after day between predator and prey. Research shows that buffalo calves in large herds have survival rates 3 times higher than those in small herds. When the herd is large enough, lions have almost no chance of success. But climate change and habitat loss are fragmenting buffalo herds. The smaller the herd, the weaker the collective strength, and the more vulnerable the calves become. Every calf that survives today will grow up to become part of the protective wall tomorrow. The cycle of protection continues through each generation. That is how the African buffalo has endured for millions of years. The herd reaches the riverbank. Cool water flows around their legs, and the calf cautiously steps to the water's edge for the first time, while the mother stands close beside it, not moving an inch away. Today, the riverbank is quiet. The calf has drunk its fill. It has just survived the most dangerous day of its early life. As the evening light paints the Masai Mara red, the African buffalo herd begins moving back toward the tall grass. Hundreds of individuals walk in the same rhythm, forming a moving, living wall. The calf tucks itself against its mother's flank within the embrace of the herd. In nature, no creature is strong enough to survive alone. And sometimes, the most resilient line of defense is built not from individual strength, but from the presence of an entire community. Afternoon sunlight filters through the dense tropical canopy, air scorching hot, burning every living creature. The harshest summer day of the year in the Sundarbans region. Temperature reaches 42 degrees Celsius. Humidity drops to 10%. Even the most powerful creatures must find ways to cool their bodies. The river flows with murky water, cool, inviting, but beneath the seemingly calm surface, danger still lurks. This is predator territory. Bengal tigers, saltwater crocodiles, two apex predators, two different worlds, but sometimes two worlds collide. The Bengal tiger is one of 6 tiger subspecies still existing on Earth. In the wild today, only about 2,500 individuals remain. This tigress has 4 cubs, 4 months old enough to follow their mother, but still too small to face this dangerous world. Each weighs about 20 kilograms. Canines just emerged, claws still soft. They depend completely on their mother's protection. Tiger cub survival rate in the first 2 years is only about 50%. Starvation, disease, other predators, and sometimes accidents no one anticipates. The mother tiger has territory spanning roughly 20 square kilometers, sufficient food sources, but in the brutal heat, water is essential for survival. This afternoon, temperature reaches record highs. The mother tiger needs to cool herself and her cubs. The nearby river becomes the only option. She leads her cubs down to the riverbank, moving cautiously, eyes scanning every bush, ears listening for every sound, instinct warning of danger. The cubs appear eager. They don't yet fully understand the peril, only know the cool water can ease the burning heat, the innocence of youth. The mother tiger stops at the water's edge, drinks, sniffs the air, observes the surface. Water is calm, too calm, but the heat doesn't allow long hesitation. She steps in first. Water reaches her belly, cold, refreshing, She calls her cubs. 4 tiger cubs plunge in, water splashing everywhere. Their small bodies nearly submerged in the murky water. They swim by instinct, not skilled yet, but enough to move. The mother tiger moves slowly. She probes the mud beneath her feet, all senses operating at maximum, a deep vigilance evident. Saltwater crocodiles are the largest surviving reptiles. They can reach 7 meters long, weigh over a ton, and have lived in this region for millions of years. They lie still on the riverbed, just waiting, sensing vibrations in the water, detecting prey from afar. The mother tiger senses something changing in the water, a movement, an unusual current. She emits a low warning growl. Too late. From the riverbed, a violent surge of water erupts. Mud and white foam. A massive muscular mass launches to the surface. One tiger cub is seized unexpectedly. No time to cry out. No time to react. Only the sound of water exploding. The mother tiger thrashes frantically. The water heavy with the scent of sudden loss. She charges forward, herding her cubs toward the opposite shore. The 3 remaining cubs swim desperately, terrified, panicked, but still following their mother, survival instinct driving each swimming stroke through the water. Behind them, the crocodile tosses its prey into the air, the brutal death roll. But this isn't cruelty. This is nature's essence. The mother tiger looks back, amber eyes wide, the helpless rage of a mother, but she cannot return. The mission now is protecting the 3 that remain. As they near solid ground, the water erupts once more. A second crocodile launches from the mud, right beneath the mother tiger's flank. The second cub is seized, a desperate cry, then silence. The mother tiger stands like a wall of furious fur, shielding the 2 remaining cubs. The last 2 cubs tremble, exhausted, but alive. The mother tiger pushes them onto high ground, beyond the water's reach. Upon reaching safety, grief instantly transforms into primal rage. She turns on the bank, a mass of rippling, furious muscle. She plunges back into the deadly water, not searching for prey, just rage erupting, an instinctive reaction to the loss just suffered. 210 kilograms of tigress confronting nearly a ton of crocodile, claws raking thick scales, trying to find weak points, but there are almost none. The crocodile spins, teeth sharp as knives. Tremendous bite force, but the mother tiger still doesn't retreat. Protective instinct keeps her fighting back. The battle lasts 30 seconds, but the river is crocodile territory. Water is their advantage. The mother tiger begins to tire. She looks toward shore. 2 remaining cubs tremble, waiting. A difficult choice. Continue revenge or return to protect what remains. The two cubs run to her, press close to their mother. She licks them. A gentle, rhythmic motion. A silent signal. The ordeal has ended. But the ordeal hasn't truly ended. She must feed two cubs with less milk than before, must hunt more to compensate for what was lost. Tiger cub survival rates drop sharply after events like this. Psychological stress, nutritional deficiency, and danger always lurking. Climate change raises sea levels. Mangrove forests shrink. Tiger and crocodile territories overlap more. Conflicts increase. Humans also impact poaching, deforestation, pollution. Each year, about 100 Bengal tigers are lost. Time is running short. But hope remains. Conservation areas expand. Anti-poaching patrols strengthen. Local communities participate in protection. Efforts never cease. The mother tiger leads her two cubs away from the river, never returning to that place again. The harshest lesson has been recorded. Water isn't always safe. In the days that follow, she hunts more, sleeps less, always vigilant. The two cubs grow slower than normal, but continue maturing. 6 months later, the two cubs are much larger, healthier, learn survival skills from their mother, and from that fateful day, they learned a harsh lesson. Nature doesn't forgive mistakes. Every decision has consequences, and sometimes survival is just luck. The river still flows, crocodiles still hide beneath, tigers still pass by, but this time keeping safe distance. Two worlds, one respect. In the silence of the Sundarbans forest, a lesson is recorded. Nature isn't cruel. Nature is only honest. And in that honesty, each creature finds its way to survive in its own way.